what allowed me to continue working as a director is that a lot of people knew me from before when I was an assistant director. And a big part of directing is that you're given somebody's baby, like they've created this. This is something they want to be successful. They put their blood, sweat, and tears in, and they want to know that the person coming in understands that, is going to uphold that, and is going to bring whatever they can to this piece and make it as good as possible. And so people knew my character from before, as an AD. So as I moved into directing, I was moving in similar circles. So people knew my ethic. So then after having done an episode, they saw that I could also, I had an eye. And then,
right.
And then it's a ton of networking.
It's more than just your output, more than a bike. When you hear your shout out, you know it's all right. Put on your magic pants and let's go. We're cruising into the power zone. Clip in, set yourself free. Come on and take a ride with me. You know what you need to know and what's it all about. Everything you need, it's on the clip out.
Welcome to the Clip Out Podcast, episode 282. This is Crystal O'Keefe.
And this is Tom O'Keefe. Hello. Well, in unison.
I know.
In harmony.
After all these years, we're still in sync, baby.
It's a good thing that we're harmonious since we're married. We've both done it the other way.
It was not nearly as fun.
It's ill-advised.
I feel pretty lucky we get to have this much fun every day.
For sure. So you had to take a little break from your exercise regime this week.
I did. So I had been running every day. It was 5 days in a row. And on the fourth day, I felt this weird twinge in my right knee. Usually my left knee is the one I have pretty much always have issues with.
Yeah.
And so I ignored it because my left knee I can ignore and it's fine. But my right knee, while I was running, I felt it, and I never feel it during the run. It's after.
Right.
So that concerned me a little bit, but it was only a 30-minute run. So I was like, I'm got to finish,
Right.
And so I did. And then I got back and I ended up hobbling the rest of the way. And I had to go up and down stairs and it hurt. So I was like, all right. I got to listen to the words that I say to other people. And that is listen to your body. And my body's clearly saying,
yeah.
Stop it.
It's funny because I had to take a few days off from the tonal.
Yeah.
Because I people can probably still hear it a little bit, but I was sickly.
It's so much better than it was.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Thanks to the editors, you're not hearing at least 2/3 of the coughs. So, but yeah, I had to take a couple days off too, so I had to get back in. But when I got back to it, it was like, ooh. I could tell I wasn't there yet.
Yeah, you said that lifting some of the moves, they were it felt like it was too much whenever you first went back to it. Yeah, I had to lower the weight and not I'm super tough guy, but it was but tonal just tracks everything you do. You don't have to think about it, right? Yeah,
and so
that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, that is the beauty of it. And so it should know where I'm at. And I was doing, I don't know, what is it? I don't even know.
Overhead press was one.
No, it was
bicep curl.
The pulling forward a row. I was standing a standing row. Is that a thing?
I don't know.
They got names. I don't pay attention. And it damn near.
That's right. You said it almost pulled you into the machine.
Yeah, because it was it was doing a thing where it was it started at one weight and then after three.
Eccentric, it's eccentric, so it makes the weight heavier.
It went up 5 pounds after 3 moves.
Yeah.
And so it's I did that. And when it went up 5 pounds, it was woof.
You reached a tipping point.
Yes. And I almost got tipped. So I was
it was a Tom tipper.
Yeah. You just compare me to a cow? Is that what happened here?
Well, you're
I know you grew up on a farm, but
I didn't grow up on a farm.
Anything outside. Look, you grew up in Missouri, right? Did you grow up in St. Louis or Kansas City?
No.
Then you grew up on a farm.
I didn't grow
That's
up
the way
on
it works.
farm.
If you grew up in Missouri and you didn't grow up in St. Louis or Kansas City, you grew up on a farm.
I didn't, though.
So anyway, farm girl. So yes, your cow almost got tipped. Wait, does that make you bisexual? I'm all confused. I didn't even get to be a bull in this scenario. What's going on here? So
I just said tom tipping. I didn't say it was a cow.
Well, remember, listeners, to tip your tom at least 20% at the end of every episode. So yeah, like I went flying. Like it was a close call. And so I was just like, okay, I'm going to back off these weights. Like I'm not there yet.
That's a smart thing to do. I mean, it's like, it's hard in the moment to have the humility to be like, okay, I'm going to take it easy. But honestly, what are we doing if we're not taking it easy on those days? Because all we're going to do is end up hurting ourselves worse or getting sicker. Like what good is that going to do? It's going to be more time off the machine or away from the runs. And
that's where I landed. But you're right. Like in that moment, you're just like, I'm just like there's two ways to look at it. There's like the toxic masculinity aspect of like, well, I'm tough enough to do this. And then there's my toxic neurotic masculinity, which is like, oh shit, I can't even do that.
No, I get it because I talk to these people all the time, through MetPro, these amazing runners that I coach, and they will be like, oh yeah, I'm doing like 40 miles this week, 50 miles this week. And I'm like, I got 15. Yeah. So whenever I can't finish a half-hour run, I'm like, oh, damn it. Like I want to get my 15 miles in. That's important to me. Yeah. So I do understand it. But at the same time, like, what good are we really doing? Yeah. You're just going to hurt yourself.
I need to see in those moments, what I do as I remind myself is like, I'm not trying to actually achieve anything.
Oh, well, that doesn't work for me.
Like, like I don't have a marathon out there. Like, I'm not going to go in some sort of lifting competition. Like, I'm just doing this because, like, you're kind of supposed to if you want to live longer and be able to move, right? And so I'm like, so even doing it the lesser weight, I will achieve that. So what's the point? Right? What's like I don't have a goal that.
Okay, well, I don't like this scenario because I'm not feeling any better about how you talk to yourself. Like I'm just like, okay, well, I've got this 21 mile thing I got to do in April.
That's your problem, man.
Okay, well.
Well, I can't control that. And
you could be supportive.
I am supportive. I'm gonna go. I already booked the hotel at an exorbitant big they ought to call it
could have been a lot more exorbitant at some of the other locations.
They shouldn't call it Big Sur. They should call it Big Surge based on pricing. But
I am so glad that Dr. Jenn was like, we gotta book our hotels now.
Yeah,
because if she hadn't, we would be so screwed.
Yes. But so yeah, I mean, I already rented the car and booked the flight, so I've been very supportive.
You have.
There.
You were just like, yeah, it's on you, whatever.
But like, I can't help with that part of it. So
all right,
you go do your thing.
Okay.
So what, pray tell, do you have in store for people this week?
Well, we're gonna talk about some Kanye, some Babyface. We got some musicians to discuss this week. Also, rowing updates. There's some interesting financials coming out from Peloton. The executives that used to work there coming out. We've got all kinds of things to talk about. A new lawsuit dropped this week. Got to talk about that.
It's been 10 days.
I know, right?
It's time for a new lawsuit.
Time for a new one. Yeah. We had a visit from Dr. Jenn, and we talk about dealing with depression after you have like this big event. And then, letdowns. We got to talk about that.
Okay.
There's so much in the news happening with the instructors, just like every week. So like 1,000 of those things. And then we also have a visit from Angelo at MetPro, and we're going to talk about gluten-free snack ideas. I know a lot of you out there are gluten-free, so listen up. And then, of course, there's celebrity news, artist collaboration, and past guest updates.
Awesome. Well, shameless plugs. But don't forget, we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, iHeart, TuneIn, wherever you find a podcast, you can find us while you're there. Be sure and follow us so you never miss an episode. Maybe leave us a review. That's always helpful and nice to see.
It is.
We have a new review.
Ooh.
This is from T-Bon 310. I think I'm saying that right.
T-Bon. Okay. Yeah. Well, let's hear it.
It says, so yeah, I drank the Peloton Kool-Aid and love it. But hey, at least it keeps me active, right? I'm so happy that I found this podcast because it's enjoyable to listen to while I'm working and allows me to keep up with my Peloton obsession. Crystal and Tom make a great team, which is fortunate because we're married. And it's a leaderboard name, What's Up Chicken Butt.
Oh, I see What's Up Chicken Butt all the time. Yeah. I love that leaderboard name. It cracks me up. Love it.
So
Love it. Thank you very much for the kind review.
So much. And also, we have a Facebook page, facebook.com/theclipout. While you're there, like the page, join the group. We've had tons of new people do both.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks for everybody sharing the episodes. It's really helping.
Yeah, for sure. And you've had a lot of people check out your Instagram, which we normally mention at the end of the show, but let's throw it in here. At Clip Out Crystal on the Instagram. So you can find her on there if you're an IG person. You can also sign up for our newsletter at theclipout.com. We throw a lot of links at you very quickly. And if you're trying to figure out where to find it, or like, I kind of remember one that was interested, but I don't remember what, newsletter, boom, comes out Sunday mornings. We don't sell your information, not because we're above it, but because we don't know how. No, we're above it too, but we don't know how. I mean, it can be both. Finally, we have we have two finallys. YouTube.com/theclipout, where you can watch these episodes. And then finally, you can sign up for our Patreon. We just put out a new bonus episode for people, just kind of giving them some behind the scenes of what it looked like when all the Daniel stuff was happening, because it was a real shit show, and it got a little crazy. So we just kind of like peel back the curtain of like, this is what it looks like on our end, if that interests you.
Yeah.
And so and you also, if you sign up, you get ad-free episodes, so you can do all that at patreon.com/theclipout. So there's all that. Let's dig in, shall we?
We shall.
Peloton in the news.
Kanye West, also who goes by, is it Ye?
I think it's Yee because it's Yeezys. Right?
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was Ye because it's like the last two letters of his name, Kanye.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I've only ever seen it written, so I honestly don't know. But so he's been embroiled in a little bit of controversy.
A little bit?
Okay, I was trying to, I don't know what I was trying to do, but that's, but yeah.
That seems like minimizing things.
So he has said some less than favorable things to say about Jewish people.
Yeah.
And has been getting deplatformed left and right. Adidas kicked him to the curb. All sorts of places are just, I saw today that Madame Toussaint is taking down his wax statue.
I had no idea he had a wax statue.
Yeah.
Take it down, Madame Toussaint.
Yes. You're gone.
You're gone. You're out of here.
So in the middle of all this, Alex Toussaint in one of his classes said, without naming him, but like it's pretty obvious who he's talking about, saying that he wouldn't be playing his music in his classes anymore.
Yeah. And he talked about like, I want people to be safe in my class, feel safe, and that he does not, he doesn't stand by hate speech. So I want to drill down on this for just a second, because a lot of people reached out to me and were like, why is Alex doing this now? Not like, why is Alex doing this?
Right.
I think that's, there are people out there saying that, and I'm not even entertaining that conversation. But why now?
Right.
And I think that, I saw somebody mention that Our Future Selves came out yesterday. They had dropped 2 new episodes. So that was Tuesday. And Alex said this Monday night during class. So my theory is he knew those classes were coming, because remember, those were filmed months ago,
right,
in Ashton Kutcher's basement. And so I think that... Who
does a show from their basement? What a loser.
Right? Can you believe that? I think that since they were dropping with Alex on the Tread, and one of those classes had a Kanye song in it, I think Alex was like, I just want to get out in front of this. Well,
and also, so when I was working the Google machine that we have in our basement, I found a website called pedalpal.app.
Yeah, they've been around for a long time now.
And so, and you can search artists on there, and it'll tell you, like, it had a showing of which instructors have used this artist the most.
Well,
right?
Alex had to be at the top of that list.
I mean, not even close.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, it showed
he said before that some of Kanye's classes were like his favorite hype songs.
Yeah.
Like, he said it. So
and Kanye has, I mean, you can't deny his impact on hip hop, right? Like, I mean, like, so, but it was like, I think the next closest, I think the person number 2 had used a Kanye song, and I forget who it was, like 103 times, and Alex was at 247.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a big difference.
That's, he will be the instructor impacted the most.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that is a very important factor to bring up, but I think that it wasn't like Alex didn't care about it. Like,
sure.
I guess that's my point, that some people kind of, I think we're feeling like from Alex that, oh, you waited this long because maybe it wasn't important to you. And I don't think that was the case. I think it was just the timing of how things all played out and how it looked.
I think there's also an aspect of this feels like some sort of psychological break, and people are
that's such a good point.
Are probably, they're trying to gauge like what's appropriate, because some people have said like, well, they claim to be so supportive of mental health. And I'm like, well, you could be supportive of someone's mental health, but if their mental health is causing them to punch you in the face, you don't have to let them keep punching you in the face in order to be supportive of their mental health.
Right.
Like, I'm going to be supportive of your mental health over here where the punching isn't happening.
Here's another example. A person who is an alcoholic, like, they tell you whenever you are a family member of an alcoholic, they tell you like, love them from afar,
from a distance,
because
like
you
Bette Midler.
You can't not love that person or treat them with empathy, but you also need to remove yourself from being impacted by them. And that means that this some people feel that his remarks mean that every time they hear this music, it is upsetting to them, because it's like, you hate us as a people. Like, anyone who is Jewish feels that way.
And even though his songs don't necessarily say that, or at least not the popular ones,
right?
But it's still putting money in the pocket of a man who is saying that.
Yeah. Well, now on that note, let's dig into the other half of this equation, and that is, so many people feel that this is, so Peloton removed Kanye from their platform, but they didn't remove him. They removed him going forward. Right. And so their statement says, we can confirm we indefinitely pause the use of Kanye West's music on our platform. This means our instructors are no longer using music in any newly produced classes. And we are not suggesting any class using his music in our proactive recommendations to members. So like when it says recommended for you, you're not going to see anything that has Kanye in it.
So I will say this is similar to what you're seeing from places like Spotify, and presumably Apple Music probably has a similar policy, which this is what they do with R. Kelly, because they don't, like, they're really nervous about getting into the situation of like, somebody's mad at an artist, you shouldn't have it on your platform, right? Like this is a tough one. It's a very tough line to walk, and so they don't want to get into that business. I know it's a little bit different for Peloton, because Spotify and Apple Music essentially kind of make access available to virtually anything that's available on streaming is on their platform, right? And so what they did, like in the R. Kelly situation, is they did not pull his music from their platform, but they don't put it on any of the playlists that they make, and they don't push any playlists with R. Kelly in front of people as a suggested playlist. And so this kind of mirrors that to some degree.
I think that Peloton, I think any of these companies have a difficult choice to make. And I'm going to speak about Peloton just because
that's what we do.
It is what we do. But I also see the comments that come in. So I feel like I see how people respond.
Right.
And you have three sets of people. One set is, and I would say is by far the majority, is like, yay, you did this.
This is good. Good job. Thank you.
We're done here. We're happy. We're happy.
I'd say that's probably about 90 to 95% of the reactions have been positive.
Then you have another section who is like, free speech.
Yeah.
How dare you? How dare you?
Yeah.
And those people don't even understand what free speech means.
If you love the Constitution that much, here's a fun evening for you. Read it.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah,
like, I mean,
it's not what free speech
regardless
means,
of how you feel about Kanye or any of the things he is saying, it's that this is just facts. That's not what freedom of speech means. But having said that, that's another huge, that's a piece. That's a piece. And then you have a whole nother section that I feel is the most difficult to address, and that is the people who feel like this is lip service.
Yeah,
that this
not
is
enough.
not doing
Why wasn't
enough.
it sooner? Why isn't it more? Why aren't you pulling all the old classes? And
They're hurt. They're hurt.
Yeah.
They're angry. They feel there are points to all of those things,
And my theory, and I think yours too, for why they're not pulling the old classes is one, it would be difficult to go and pull a lot of classes, but
it's 1,300 classes.
Yeah, it's like 1,300 classes, but they've certainly done it before. But they've also gotten sued for doing it before, and so so they don't want to get sued again for purging classes. So I think the solution they're trying to strike here is that they're not going away, but we're not going to do anything to promote them. And I think that was where they're in a weird spot with this latest episode of Our Future Selves, is because there is a Kanye song in it, right? And so...
Yeah, and for the first time, to that point, they did not mention Our Future Selves dropping. Like, there was no mention on social media. They just quietly appeared.
Right.
That's a big deal. Like, to people who say that's not much, that's a huge deal for a company that's in crisis mode right now.
And here's something that seems to be successful, people seem to be responding to, and I'm sure they didn't spend a small amount of money to bring Ashton Kutcher in to do this sort of thing, and they're going to take a whole episode and basically not tell anybody that it's out there.
2 episodes.
2? Okay.
It was one episode that had a Kanye song, but they did not promote either of the ones that dropped. And I think because they both were kind of like dropped on the same day, it was a series, that whole thing. But I think that's a much bigger deal than people realize. And don't get me wrong, I don't mean to dismiss the people who feel hurt and outraged by the fact that they feel like this is lip service. I think that is a concern that is valid. Like, I understand where you're coming from a business perspective. I understand why they didn't, but I also understand why it feels like that's not enough on the other hand. And also, I think there's another piece that we need to consider, and that is the crazy people out there who are so upset that Peloton is doing anything.
Right.
As much as we would all like to say, hey, we all agree on this, sadly, we do not.
Yeah,
there are people that are okay with the hate speech.
And all you got to do is scroll the comments to see it.
You can find them. It's real easy.
Real easy.
They are not hiding, which is a whole nother concern, but we won't get into that. I think that when it comes to being a business, it is a really difficult position to be in, where you're trying to honestly serve everybody that comes to your platform, whether you agree with them or not.
Right.
Because it is a fine line to walk. At the same time, you want to protect people and make them feel safe, and that is being addressed as well. So this is a difficult one. I can understand why this was a really tough decision for Peloton. I personally thought they handled it very well. I personally would have done the same thing.
But I will also say, we're not Jewish, right? And so,
hey, that's a
like it's not our ox getting gored, and so as someone who's not Jewish, like, I look at it and kind of land in the same place. Like, it's a difficult needle to thread, and they're trying to, like, on the one hand, not get sued, not completely remove classes, but going forward, like, I get the balancing act that they're trying to achieve. I also know that it's easy for me to not be upset because I'm not really personally affected in the same way.
I want to bring up one other thing about that, and that is about this entire situation, and that is that the way that the timing occurs makes it look as if Peloton responded because Alex did. And I want to be very clear that Peloton's statement says we stopped including Kanye music immediately after his inflammatory comments against Jewish people. And they did not make a statement about it until they were asked.
Right.
So Alex was taking the same stance as the company, not the other way around. And I feel like that's important to point out, only because everyone's on the same page about it, from employees and the company.
Force their hand on the issue.
No.
Yeah.
And they've just been in a really tough spot lately. So I feel like they need to get some credit for doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's not right to everybody. I know it's not enough for everybody, but I do think that they tried. I feel like it's the first time I've been able to say this in a long time. I think their heart was in the right place.
Yeah.
So
there's the Kanye story. The Babyface Girls Night Out class happened.
2 classes.
Kind of.
It was 2 classes, and they did happen.
They
like
did happen.
I don't want to make it sound like they didn't happen, because they did. But just like with Lizzo, the stream went down.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was an epic, like it was just broken.
Yeah.
Like, nobody could get in the whole time. And it's funny to me because like, I guess just every time an artist shows up, this is going to happen. This is going to be a thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Like you would think that you would hope, especially after having it happen twice now, that they would have some sort of plan in place to prevent that. And I don't know enough about computers and servers and the cloud and all that, whatever.
I just thought that they could anticipate this one. That's all.
I wonder if like, and again, this isn't my genre of music. I'm a rock guy, but like, I didn't know is Babyface still like I know he's popular.
Lizzo. He's not Lizzo level.
He's not like red hot burning up the charts in the present day in quite the same capacity.
And I truly do not know the answer to how popular or not popular he is.
Yeah.
It is just not I've never listened to Babyface. I couldn't tell you a song if my life depended on it. But there were clearly lots of people that were very excited about it.
Yeah.
And
I know enough to know he's a big deal.
Yes, same
I just
here.
don't know exactly where he's at in the arc of his career.
I don't either. I think it's more like not at the end. I don't want to say that, but like I think the peak of it might be a little past.
Maybe a little bit more nostalgia based than Lizzo is. At this
exactly, because
point.
like Lizzo's in the middle of her amazing career, and so I think that's unfair. It makes it sound like I'm like he's old news, but I just think he's been around for a long time.
And I wonder if that was the thought process, right? Is that Lizzo's like red hot, very current, and like we've increased our capacity, we should be fine, and then they weren't.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know. I just kind of thought that if you're going to have people like you know that people are going to know he's there, so you're going to need to project. I mean, people want to be part of it, even if it's not their favorite band.
Yeah.
Like they want to be part of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's fun that they're doing these.
It is so fun. I just hope the next one goes better.
Yeah, but it's also going to be very frustrating for people if they want to take part in the fun and they can't.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
And so they certainly need. But like, how many people are getting on these? Like, they can do turkey burns, and that's
the same thing that I keep hearing. I don't know if it's because it's that many more people. Like on the Lizzo ride, I mean, I know it was 21,000 at some point, but it's been 28,000 on the turkey burn. So I don't know if it's because everybody's hitting it at the exact same moment. They're all trying to get in right at the same moment, and that's what crashes it. Or if there's like you said, we don't know enough about the internet to explain all this and how it's all put together. I feel like it has to do with the timing. I don't know why, but it just feels like there's something about that.
Yeah. So well, hopefully they can work on that.
I agree. I hope so.
So we talked last week about how Peloton had a rowing team in the
head of the Charles.
Head of the class.
Head of the Charles.
The next generation. What is it?
Head of the Charles.
Head cheese Charles. Zenyatta Mendata. And
Head of the Charles.
Head of the Charles.
Regatta.
Zenyatta Mendata. Zenyatta. Now I got that police song stuck in my head.
Good.
So Head of the Charles Ratatouille, and they're No? Okay. But their team came in first.
Yeah.
So congrats.
If anybody can remember what we were trying to tell you.
Yeah. Somewhere there's like a rower aficionado very mad at me right now. And like, I would say clutching their pearls, but it's probably more of an ascot is what I'm picturing.
You know, I have to say I got some feedback from some people that were attending live. And first of all, I want to say that I am sorry that I said Hydro pulled out. I think there was some confusion about that because I literally got this from a Peloton employee. So let me say that. Yeah. But I did not vet it like I usually do. What I think happened was they pulled out of a portion of it. Like they aren't the same sponsor level they were, or they moved out of the place where they were and they moved downtown to Boston or something like that. But a plan changed with Hydro. They still competed. And I just want to own that, like, I got that information wrong. Yeah. So I say that to say that people who were there and went to the Peloton tent, it was very apparently last minute because Peloton was not listed as any of the sponsors. And so I do think that something happened with Hydro and Peloton kind of like stepped in to take that place. And I think it was last minute.
Interesting.
They weren't on any of the literature. They weren't on any of the signage. They did have a tent, and it was a really big tent. It was two big pieces of a tent. And then they had 6 rowers that you could try, and they had a tread. No tread. They had a bike and a bike plus that people could try out. And the other interesting thing, and I'm curious to hear from people who are rowers out there who like legit rowed, not like use a rower,
right,
but like who have rowed on the water competitively or otherwise.
They had to dry themselves off when they were done.
Exactly.
Yes.
The feedback that I am getting is that those people who are not rowers and who use a rowing machine will love this machine.
Okay.
Those who are professional or they row competitively or just a lot, they are not going to like the machine.
Why is that?
That is because this is a magnetic flywheel, which is just like what Peloton uses for the bike. And because it's a magnetic flywheel, the resistance is really strong when you first pull on it, which I did notice when I tried it out, but I didn't know enough about rowers to know the difference.
Right.
When you come back and you're sitting all the way back with legs extended, it is light. That is the exact opposite of what it's like in the water. When you're in the water, the rower is in the water, right? The row is the oar, not the rower.
Right.
The oar is in the water. And because of that, you can feel resistance the whole time. So it doesn't get light when you go back. So it feels different, not necessarily bad.
But like something like hydro, maybe you're saying is more likely to replicate the feel of actually rowing in a boat on the water. Gotcha.
That is the feedback that I am getting. And that's from people who were there and who are professional rowers. Now, on the flip side of that, let me be clear. Alex is definitely a professional rower. He's competed at a very high level. So has Ash.
Right.
They're both a very big deal. Katie Wong, like they are not small potatoes, and they are all using it. So I don't think that that's a deal breaker. I just found that interesting feedback, and I don't know if that is true across the board or if it was like, you know how like a crowd can take on a feel, even if like that's not necessarily true, but like one person says it and then everybody kind of gets into it.
A little bit of groupthink.
Yeah. So I'm curious to hear from other people who are rowers that have tried it, what they think, because I wouldn't know either way. So I would like to hear more about it. And it's something I'm really interested in learning more about. So, and speaking of the rower, this week we also noticed that on the app, like where it lists out all of your workouts, it's on the bike or the tread too. Like it's not in one place, but where you on Peloton, where you see a list of all the classes you have taken and the breakdown of them, rowing classes and rowing boot camps have appeared. They, of course, do not have any counts yet for most of us, but they are there. We are getting close. Also on that note, the other day Ash Pryor went live, and she goes live a lot, and so I hopped on to her live and I was just chatting with everybody, and she was doing a little makeup before she was filming classes, and I asked her if she could give an update on when classes would drop, and she said she was gonna go with early 2023. Go with. And I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Like, how do you not put out classes until 2023 when you're going to start delivering in 2022? We will see if they stick with that.
Yeah, that seems like that sounds to me like she's hedging her bets.
I agree.
Yeah.
Which is smart because Peloton has never done that in the past, and they need to.
Under promise, over deliver.
Yes, that's the way we do it. Also, I asked her if she was getting ready for class, and she was talking about all the different colors she wears. And I said, do you have a color that you wear for your hardest classes? And she said, I'm not sharing that. You're going to have to wait and figure it out.
So yes, she does.
So,
you just don't know what it is yet.
I love her sense of humor. I love her energy, and I cannot wait to take classes with her.
Financial Times this week revealed Barry McCarthy's
compensation package. Compensation package.
Who wants to see Barry's package?
Oh dear.
No.
Stop it. So it was $168 million. But the interesting thing, if I'm reading this correctly, now I did skim.
Suddenly Daniel McKenna's $230,000 doesn't sound so high.
Okay, but I think that is based on stock. So if you actually read this, it's like it's based off of stock value, and so now it's not very. It's not
the same.
Yeah. Yeah. But on the flip side, it's still a huge offer, and it's 2,299 times higher than the median employee salary. So I mean, not small.
Yeah, no, it's not. And it's like, do I think these people are overpaid? Absolutely.
It's also a tremendous risk.
But it also, if unfortunately, that's what the market does. And if you want to get someone of a certain caliber, you got to come to the table with stuff like that. Like, I mean, I wish it wasn't like that. I don't think...
It's not quote unquote fair.
Yeah, I don't think these CEOs should be making this kind of money, to be perfectly honest. I think that, like,
but he's not doing something different than any other other CEO in America.
Him either.
No.
I just wish the system was structured differently in some capacity. But yeah, like if you want to get people that got the goods, that's what you got to do.
Yeah. So did you read that the same way, though, that it's like it looks like that number, but then whenever you look at where we're at currently, it's not that number?
I didn't read it, but that makes sense because I know these things are all stock based and it's also that's his incentive to get the stock price up. Right.
Right.
Like, and so
it would have to return to I like if you were to scroll down, I could see the number, but it was like it would have to return to like some crazy high values for him to be able to get that. But he can purchase 8 million shares at a later date. And his annual salary is $357,000 a year and some change.
Yeah, so it says he could buy shares at $38.77, but right now they're $7.48. So if he can get it up to $50, he can buy a bunch at $38, and he's making out like a bandit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's all these things are shell games. And,
they are. But it is interesting information. And
I think they structure them this way because if you don't understand the deal, that's the test to know you're not ready to be CEO.
Well,
if you're in the HR going, I don't understand, they're like, no, thank you. We're taking this back.
I have to say, as much as it's crazy how much these people make, like I mean, across the board. But on the flip side, I will also say, like, you have to make decisions. You're being asked to make some crazy decisions. Yeah. So it is a tremendous amount of weight on a person's shoulders.
It is.
Worth that much?
Yeah. Yeah, I could deal with it.
I mean, sure.
Yeah. I'll dry my tears with $100 bills.
I don't think I'd like it. I'd
do it just long enough to be like, now I'm rich for the rest of my life. I'm out.
Yeah, well, it's a gamble.
Which is why I would never get there.
If you don't, if you can't get the company where it's supposed to be, then you're never going to be that rich.
For sure.
So
he's still making $360,000 a year base.
It's New York.
Also true, but not jump change.
No.
The website Protocol, speaking of Peloton execs or former Peloton execs, talked to Brad Olson.
You remember Brad? We met him. Yeah. Super nice guy.
Very.
He has moved on to Solace Health. He's the new CEO there, and it's a concierge healthcare company that gives members 24/7 access to doctors, emergency rooms, and urgent care. So he was at Peloton for 6 years, and he was saying that the way that he looks at it is less that he walked away from Peloton and toward the opportunity that he saw in Solace Health. And he felt that being at Peloton got him so much experience in that earlier stage company. He wanted to do it all again.
And he gets to be a CEO here. So, right. It's, he goes to a smaller company, but now he's the guy. And if he can bring it up, then maybe he gets to be Barry McCarthy one day, right?
Yeah.
So that's the process.
I just thought it was funny because like the article is like really nice, but the headline makes it sound a little bit like he's mad.
Yeah, and he's not at all.
Not at all.
Peloton in court. Who's suing Peloton now?
Hey, fun. We've got a new lawsuit to talk about.
Ooh, doggy.
This one is from Johnson Health Tech Co. Limited.
Yeah. So they're suing Peloton for tread-related patent infringements. And I am no patent attorney.
What?
Pillow Law Mom Group, weigh in.
Yeah.
I would love to hear from you because I tell you what, it looks to me like anybody who has a treadmill, who makes a treadmill, is subject to these same patent infringements.
If they are, in fact, infringements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really weird because these patents appear to have been created after the Tread Plus came out.
Like it's weird because Fred Wachter sent this to us.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Hashtag the Fred.
Thank you very much. And yeah, so a lot of things they're complaining about are like, well, your treadmill has a base. Our treadmill has a base, and your treadmill has a tread, and our treadmill has a tread.
It's like anything with a motor.
Yeah, and so I'm like, okay, but that's just a treadmill? Like, I don't understand. And then, the dates on these patents seem to be contemporaneous or after the release of the Tread and Tread Plus. So it's like, it's very confusing. And it's hard to imagine a situation where like, as a lay person reading this lawsuit, like, so basically every tread in the world owes you money? Like,
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I don't understand what's so special about what they've trademarked, because it in this, as a layperson, this reads like a description of just a generic treadmill. It does.
So I am really curious to hear from Peloton law moms. Let me know.
Yeah.
Let me know. I want to hear more. Even if you won't come on the show, just drop into my inbox.
Yeah.
I want to hear from you.
The clip out.
You know, if you like lane break, and I know you do.
I love it.
And you want your fitness to have a little touch of gaming, maybe you should think about Fight Camp.
I think that's a great idea, because Fight Camp, what it does is it gamifies boxing and kickboxing, and they also so like you're not only boxing and getting in shape, but it has this like tracker on the screen that shows how many punches are like almost like if you're playing golf, like this is what you should be doing,
right?
And it's really fun and motivating to beat the punch tracker, the little punch tracker, and get more, and they also have like thousands of classes. They've recently added a ton of new people that are teaching classes, new types of classes. They also have added to the Android app. So now you can take the classes on Apple or Android, and you can use your Apple Watch to be able to see where your heart rate is while you're doing the classes. So you can really see what a great workout you're getting, because I tell you what, 15, 20 minutes, you are going to feel it. You do not need a long workout with these things.
It is a full body workout.
It is. It's amazing. And you work in your brain too. So it's awesome.
Join the biggest boxing community in the world without leaving your home with Fight Camp. You can get started with Fight Camp for as low as $9 a month by going to fightcamp.com/clip.
Go to fightcamp.com/clip to learn more.
Getting the psychological edge with Dr. Jenn.
Joining us once again via the magic of ZoomTube is Dr. Jenn Mann, licensed marriage, family, and child therapist and sports psychology consultant. She also has an app that you might enjoy called No More Diets. It's Dr. Jenn. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
So I can identify with this one very much. I relate very much to this. Trish Lalonde, I got to meet her when we were in New York, by the way. She was there at the same time we were. Super Trish, I believe, is her leaderboard name. So she is now back home from her visit to Peloton Studio, New York. And she was so focused before she went. And the trip was so amazing being there. And now she's like, now what? Because it's not the same doing classes at home. And I think this happens when people do like a really big event or race too. So I feel like I am already like, Tom will vouch for me. I do this for everything. Like I'm already like sad about a trip being over before we've left for the trip. So
yeah,
I need advice.
Well, look, I think it's a great point. It's kind of like a lot of the time women in particular get depressed after their wedding, because even though they wanted to get married, the kind of this exciting, amazing event is over. And I've never been to Peloton Studios in person and taken a class there, but I imagine it's like doing your class at home, but on steroids in terms of the energy and the excitement and the fun and all of that sort of stuff.
Yes.
So I think that there are a few things to do. One is to, before her next trip, to make sure that she kind of prepares mentally, to kind of acknowledge like, hey, there's going to be some letdown and I need to make a plan for when I return. And sometimes for some people, the plan needs to be, I'm going to do more gentle workouts for a little while. Like maybe your first week back, you kind of focus more on some yoga and some stretching and kind of those sort of more gentle classes. Or for other people, it's like, okay, I need to get those endorphins as much as possible. So what I would recommend if you're one of those people is maybe you can arrange a ride with a friend in advance or a group of friends, to kind of like a post New York studio ride where you can kind of bring the people that brought that energy all together kind of in a different form. And that can be a great way to connect. And also like look, Crystal and I, every Saturday, I'll share, we do our long run together. And on those days, even if I don't feel like running, I know I'm going to see Crystal. I'm going to get to connect with her. We're going to get to talk. That I'm going to get to look over and see her. We do it on FaceTime. I'm hoping that Peloton will bring back the thing where you can see your friends on the screen, so I don't have to keep turning my head. But I do think that, running or cycling with a friend does make a difference. And in 1999, I did the LA Marathon, and I often said before that, I'm not a runner. Now I consider myself a runner. But before that, I had read this article that said, it was a study that said that people who trained with friends had a significantly higher completion rate of marathon. And I think the same could be said for a workout post-exciting studio ride. I think that if you know that you have friends to kind of cushion your fall, that you've got support, that you've got that energy, that I think that could really help you.
Definitely. That's a good idea. You're going to have to remind me of this in April.
Yeah. Will do.
I also wonder if, does it benefit them to take the class that they took? They can relive that moment.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's fun.
But I have to say, the best class is the one where Crystal is Jenn Sherman's class with Crystal on the left-hand side.
Bike one, baby. Bike one.
It is hard not to smile when you see Crystal in that class. I think you need to post, you need to pin it and post it on your social so that people will know which class it is. You are I took that class on a day that was in an mood, not a terrible mood, but I don't know if I feel like writing. I couldn't stop smiling, just staring at you smiling. So I highly recommend anyone who's feeling a little burnt out, take that class and look at Crystal.
It was 9:25 Jenn Sherman Sunday morning, and it was an 80s ride, and it was so fun. But I will, there's a lot of people that captured videos. Apparently a lot of people got a kick out of that, because I had a lot of people send me videos and put it on my my Instagram, and I love it. I love it so much.
I posted a screenshot myself.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, where can people find you?
You can find me on all social media at Dr. Jenn Man, 2 N's on Jenn, 2 N's on Man, or I have a weekly column in InStyle magazine called Hump Day with Dr. Jenn that comes out every Wednesday.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Instructors in the news.
So big news, Alex Toussaint is now officially a tread instructor also.
Yes, also. He's not leaving the bike.
Yes.
But he will be dropping tread content starting on November 24th on a regular basis. And that's Thanksgiving. So the other thing is I'm really excited about this, because I feel like I was noticing that how he was training for his Ashton Kutcher series. Classes were a little bit different than say Emma. He was doing all these training runs and everything. So I don't know if he will be the only instructor that moves over, or if it's also kind of indicating that some of these other instructors like Dennis and Emma will also be joining the tread at some point.
I think they will.
I think it's just Alex for a while.
I think this is a long-term plan, and I think it's smart, because I think that they want to sell treads, and people have a passion for their bike instructors. And what better way to get someone to graduate or transition from a bike or add to the rotation a treadmill than by moving a beloved instructor or instructors over to tread also.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
So, and maybe this is part of Barry's famous A/B tests, right? Maybe he's like,
right.
Let's move Alex over. If we see a bump in treads, then we're going to start cherry picking other, marquee instructors, and they're going to start adding tread classes to their rotation.
Yeah, that could be. It will be interesting to see how it pans out. But I just like knowing that I was being observational and noticed that he was really taking a lot of classes and he was doing a lot of running outside of just that one. So
And then also with the turkey burn just around the corner.
Well, I mean, it's Thanksgiving, and that's the day he starts. So he is kicking it off with a big one, 30-minute turkey burn run on 11/24 at 9 a.m. Eastern.
And this to me makes me really think that I'm right.
I can see that.
The turkey burn is such a marquee thing, and they always get crazy numbers for the turkey burn. And so to be like, to put him on that high of a platform on day one, I think says that like this is designed to get Alex fans to buy treads.
That makes total sense. Now, did you also notice the other big news with this?
No.
Flip one more time. That's right. You go to the studio site on Friday, 10/28, noon Eastern. This is noon Eastern on Friday, not Monday. You can book classes for Turkey Burn Live, the bike and the tread. Holy cow. That has never been done before.
Yeah.
Not since the pandemic. I am scared to see what this looks like. People are, I mean, if people were in person, they would be punching each other out. I believe that. This would be crazy. This is like Black Friday.
Yeah.
So I am really curious. If anybody gets a spot, let me know.
Yeah.
I'm not trying. That's for sure. We're not going to New York for Thanksgiving. But even if we
haven't, it was a blast.
It was. But I don't think I'd even try for this. I really don't. I think it's going to be very stressful.
I'd be like,
even for my level of fun.
I'd be like, we were late for the class. We were stuck behind a Snoopy balloon.
But Snoopy's so cute.
You wouldn't think he was cute if he was blocking you from a class. I'll tell you that.
Fair. I would be like, get out of my way, Snoopy.
Snoopy can go F himself.
I'm going to punch you.
So Emma Lovewell is writing a book.
Yeah, and it comes out in May. It is her first book, so I guess she's got plans for more.
Yeah.
Live, Learn, Love Well, Lessons from a Life of Progress, Not Perfection. And she announced it on her birthday. What a way to announce it.
Yeah.
Very cool. She had a big old write-up in People magazine, so a lot of support behind this book. That's really, really cool.
Absolutely. I think this isn't something else you will see more of.
Agreed.
Especially because the Toussaint book did so well. These instructors have built-in fan bases that are just rabid. Like for the publishing world, that's what they want.
Yeah. I was surprised some of the most of the feedback on this was really good. In fact, you know what? I don't even want to say most. There was one person I saw that was negative about this.
Don't give them air.
I won't.
Yeah.
I just say, you know what? Good for you, Emma.
Yes.
I am proud of you.
Aditi Shah celebrated Diwali at the White House.
How incredible that these folks get to go to the White House for all these events. She looked gorgeous. And I love that she got to celebrate Diwali. She had a big party, her own party for Diwali as well. And it's clearly something she celebrates every year, and that she's always, shown her fans and celebrated with them. And I think it's really cool.
And speaking of, she also had a special Pilates class to celebrate Diwali.
She did, and it was in collaboration with musician and producer Jay Sean, and it dropped on demand. I think it was Monday. So very, very cool that Peloton was able to do this with Jay Sean, and that Aditi was able to be part of it.
Kendall Toole has another collaboration coming with Spiritual Gangster.
Yes, she does. It's called Warrior Vibes, and there's lots of lightning bolts all over it. I also want to point out that it is not in collaboration with One Peloton. So I'm saying that because some people just assumed, since the last one was, that this one would be too. But she had actually done one before that was just Spiritual Gangster.
Gotcha.
So I think that this is something we're going to be seeing more of. And it's coming November 1st. The last one sold out so fast. So if this is your thing, be ready, because
watch the correct website, right? It's not going to be on the Peloton website. Go
Spiritual Gangster.
Sign up for their mailing list, whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
So Jess King is entering her last week at Peloton. Pause for dramatic impact. Before maternity leave.
Calm down. It's okay.
Just wanted to give someone a panic attack while they were driving. So if you're that person and you lived through it, let us know.
3, 2, 1, cue Gina texting me. I almost crashed my car.
I hate your husband even more.
Love you, Gina. This is a big week. Now, remember, Jess King and Bex Gentry are due on the same day. So I suspect we will be seeing a post like this from Bex shortly.
Yeah.
And it's very exciting that all these instructors are having their babies. And it's also probably another reason why Alex is moving over to the tread as well.
Certainly doesn't hurt.
Exactly.
Solves 2 problems.
It does.
Variety had their New York party, which is kind of the most boring name I've ever heard. I mean, it is a New York party, but I just would have thought somebody like Variety would have gave it a spicier name.
I have to agree.
Yeah.
But Robin and Kendall and Tunde and Olivia all attended together, and they were all, photographed together.
Walking the red carpet.
That's right. Looks like they had a good time.
Speaking of Robin, she was on the Hurdle podcast.
So she talks about how to navigate race day. But are we going to mention the other Hurdle episode here right below it?
Yeah. How did that sneak by us?
Well, it didn't.
Oh, okay.
I had given this to you to talk about Rad. I didn't see Robin.
Oh. Okay, I was like, how did I miss that? Okay.
So this episode, let me back up. Robin's episode, Navigating Race Day, is actually from 2019, but so she's repurposing it for coming up for the New York City Marathon.
Sure.
But just before that, she had an episode with Rad Lopez, which is brand new for episode 226, and he is featured. And I saw on his page that he was talking about how he has gotten an amazing response from people. And I'm sure we have heard nothing from this man since he's worked there.
Yeah.
So that's incredible that we're finally seeing some behind the scenes with Rad.
Absolutely. I'm sorry I missed you, Rad. My apologies. And while we're talking about podcasts, Jen Sherman was on the Token CEO podcast. So it's weird that someone in health and fitness, I don't care what people do, but would go on just such a pro pot smoking podcast. That seems...
No.
What?
No.
It's not...
Not like I am Token.
Oh, it's not Token, it's Tokens. Okay.
Yeah,
so that's fascinating on a different level. That I didn't realize she was such a Lord of the Rings aficionado.
Not Tolkien. No.
Not Tolkien. Oh, not Tolkien podcast. Oh.
Token.
Okay. So it's like a Chuck E. Cheese podcast?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. She talked about Chuck E. Cheese. But she actually told the story of how she got her job at Peloton. But if you want to hear her original version, come on over and check out, I believe it was episode 6?
6, something around there.
6 or 9.
Yeah, she got a 2-parter.
She did. It's Jen Sherman. Oh my God. I remember how I was shaking when we sat down with her. I was so excited. And our computer didn't work that day.
Oh, it's a mess.
Oh.
Tunde is partnering with Gold Standard 100% plant protein powder.
Optimum Nutrition.
Okay, or Optimum Nutrition. Well, they highlighted that part, so I thought that's what it was called.
I thought this was interesting because they have Aaron Andrews, who's also a Peloton user, and then they have Tunde, and then also a professional track athlete, Stephen Benedict, and they're trying to focus on outdoor exercise during the fall. So it's a big challenge that they're doing, and I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
All the things these instructors get roped into.
For sure. Matt Wilpers celebrated his birthday weekend with a grand fondo in Greenville, South Carolina.
Yeah, and I think that he has done this every year for the last several years, but lots of people out there see all that orange. That is our one Peloton riders right there. that is our road rider team. I love it. Love seeing them out there. But that's really cool.
Matty Majacomo, he has his Instagram live show Out Loud, and this week he talked to psychic medium, astrologist, public speaker, and author Melanie Obaid.
Yeah.
I don't know which way.
And he also was heavily using the filters at the beginning.
He
and
was loving the filters.
Hilarious.
I hate when people do that one.
Love Matty. Oh my God, he's so funny.
Speaking of Maddie, he celebrated Spirit Day.
He did, and taught me something because I didn't know that this was a special day. But it is standing up against bullying to protect our LGBTQ plus youth. And you stand up high in your heels for the queer kids. And I love this message. A message to parents: don't be your child's first bully. Love and accept your child with every fiber of your being. That's your most important job as a parent. God bless you, Maddie. You are so right. I love this.
And this is a relatively recent thing. I believe it began in 2010.
Oh.
And then kind of took off organically and then has since been adopted by the LGBT community. And so now I think it's getting a little bit more attention than it has as it grows.
That's awesome. I'm glad it's growing, and I'm glad people are talking about this, because the statistics for kids who are before they come out or when they come out, it's just like awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
Not good.
No.
Christine D'Ercole has a new word shop.
It's going to be taking place on October 30th at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Masks, imposter syndrome. Why do we fear that we do not know what we know? And it's a mere $35.
Yeah.
That's nothing. That is easy. ChristineD'Ercole.com. And these word shops are very, very popular with people who have been around Peloton forever. So if you have not gotten a chance to take one and you like Christine, this is a great opportunity to check it out. She hasn't done these for a little bit. She's getting back into them.
By the time you hear this, Matt Wilpers and Katie Wong will have made an appearance at the Peloton store.
Tyson's Corner.
There we go. And it was Tyson something.
Yeah.
And I heard Tyson, my head went chicken nuggets.
I bet. You were just off in chicken land.
Flustered.
And I have to say, I stole this from David J. Miller, PhD, but he was on our show, so I figure he wouldn't mind. But it's, I guess it's near the DC area, and this store has been around for a long time. So like you said, they're going to be out there. You get to go do a meet and greet. So if you're in the area, check it out. Or let us know how it was, since you will have already been there if you were going to go.
Sam Yo celebrated Back to the Future Day.
Yeah, this cracked me up. He posted on Instagram and then asked everyone to put in the quotes their favorite, or put in the comments their favorite quote from the movie. And pretty much the entire movie is in the quotes.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, there's so many good lines in that movie.
We're big Back to the Future fans.
I know.
For people on the YouTube channel, we have our own flux capacitor right there.
Yeah.
That's what that is. An exact replica of a flux capacitor. And Crystal, for people on YouTube, if you could reach behind you, what else do we have?
Well, let's see here.
Show that to the viewers on YouTube. That's right. We've got a Pepsi free, just laying around the podcast studio. So we're right there with you, Sam Yo.
This is how I do shopping for Tom.
Yes. What's the nerdiest thing I can buy? A Pepsi free.
I will do it.
Yes. So Charlotte has announced that she's having her first ever English language class.
Yeah. So she has been teaching the German classes for a year now. And so this is, maybe it hasn't been a full year. I honestly cannot keep track of all the new instructors. But at any rate, she's very excited about it. And she was saying that the playlist intensity is going to be 5 flames. So,
okay.
Yeah. Intense. Can't wait to hear what people think of this.
We have some instructors celebrating their first year at Peloton.
Yeah, it's really cool. The UK tread team, it's been 12 months. So you've got Jermaine, Susie, Jocelyn, and of course, you can't forget John Hosking. The whole team is there. It's been 12 years. And Susie posted about it. 12 months.
There we go.
12 months. And there's a lot of great pictures that Susie posted of all of them together in various times. And I tell you what, this is one of my favorite additions. I love Susie so much. Jocelyn, honestly, the whole Tread UK team, I have really enjoyed running with. I run with them all the time. Love it.
Callie Gullickson is commemorating 1 year of doing bike boot camps.
Yeah, I can't believe bike boot camps have been around for a year. And that is just insane to me. So congrats to Callie as well.
So Ash Pryor's brother is a teacher.
Right.
And she stopped by the classroom and talked to the kids.
She did. And she She said, fun fact, when I had a choice to pick any teacher to hand me my high school diploma, I chose my brother. Those trying to figure out the math, we are 9 years apart.
Which I love. That's my favorite quote in the whole thing, because I know that as a sibling, as a younger sibling, that's a dig to be like, you're old, dude. Because I do it to my sister all the time.
I think it's also like your brother's old enough to give you your diploma. I think there's some of that in there too. But she talked to each of his classes on October 13th and talked about physical and financial wellness. And he had a little quote in there as well. I just thought it was really neat.
Absolutely. So speaking of Ash Pryor, her and Jess Sims had a little fun with Maddie Majacomo.
Yes, they were trying out Jelly Bellies. Is that what they call them? Jelly Bellies?
I think they're jelly beans if you're American. I think it's a brand name of jelly bean. I think the Jelly Bellies are really big in Britain. I think they sell them over here too now.
But they're the flavored ones, only like the weird flavors.
The first time I ever heard Jelly Bellies was on Doctor Who.
Oh,
and
well.
so
anyway, it's the company that sells the weird ones, whatever it is, whether it be Jelly Belly or something else. But it's the ones that like you get all these weird flavors. So they were trying them, and they had Maddie try one, and this was his face when he tried it. And then I love that it was labeled not soap, Dawn dish soap with the name, like the brand name in it. And Maddie was dying. Yeah. But it is coming up on Halloween, Maddie's favorite time to torture Jess Sims. So I'm really glad that she got a little dig in pre-Halloween.
For sure. But now he's mad. Now he's going to be bringing the heat.
Yeah.
So,
so don't miss his walk run on Saturday morning. Do not miss it.
I understand the motivation, but it might not have been the best idea.
I love it.
You know, we forgot to talk about this earlier, but we have some more information about Robin and her Swagger Crew Team Web3 fanciness.
Yeah. Swagger Society.
There we go.
So nothing came out for a while, and then I got an email this week saying, we're getting ready to start things up. You're going to be hearing about it more, and they are looking for a social media manager. But I still didn't understand Web3 that much. So I had a conversation with some people who understand the internet very well. Let's just say that. And I got this overview. I love this overview. Okay. Web 1 is a conversation between the company using their web page to the end user.
It's a static website. It's a web flyer.
There you go. And then you have Web 2, which was Instagram and all the social media where you have people interacting on platforms.
Yes.
Now you have Web 3, which is completely decentralized, and they are creating new ways for creators to interact with people that enjoy the things that they create. So a lot of people kind of take that to mean that it's got to be an NFT. And I think that you will be seeing NFTs.
Certainly a component. Yeah,
absolutely. But I also just want to point out that not every NFT has to cost money. I'm seeing a lot of people be really mean about this. Yeah. So I kind of feel...
I think because there's so many NFT stories and things you see, and it's like the financial bros that are out there, and it's like, I'm a mover and shaker, and I'm going to flip things, and, you know.
Yeah. But it also can be that, like, you get... Like, you can create special artwork and things like that for people that want to interact with you. And I have no idea what she's going to charge or not charge for because nobody knows yet. But I also think that, like, let's kind of just wait and see how it all pans out before
it's a whole new paradigm.
Exactly.
And so there's going to be some learning.
There will be things that people don't like. There will be things that people like, and then someday there will be Web 4, and we will forget all about this. But but I think it's just neat to see the world evolve, and I just enjoy learning about things like this. So I'm curious to see what she does with it.
Joining us today via the magic of ZoomTube is Angelo from MetPro, here to answer all of your fitness and nutrition questions. Hello.
Hey guys. All right, I got a fun one for you today. This is from our listener Amy Bryce, and she says that her issue is snacking. She's gluten-free for 12 years and she eats well, but she snacks more than she should. Help.
Okay, so what we want is some good gluten-free snacks. So I have good news for you, Amy. Almost all the snacks, just by happenstance, that I recommend to my clients between meals are gluten-free. Not because there's anything magical about gluten-free per se, but because in between meals, usually foods that have gluten in them are the foods that come out of packages or boxes or processed. And so
all the fun places is what you're saying.
Yes.
all the fun places. Yeah, pretty much. So, Amy, I'm a big fan of keeping it simple. Fruits are always a great go-to, but combine them. Protein is going to be obviously critical because that will help keep you satiated so you won't be super hungry all the time. The trouble we run into is if you go to the gluten-free crackers or cookies or things like that. Those are going to build a fire in you as far as an appetite, and you're going to want more and more and more. If you go to whole foods, it's actually going to satiate you and minimize those cravings, so it'll be easier to deal with, not going back for seconds and thirds. The trick is combinations. So get some protein, get some fat, get some carbs. And so here's one of my favorite snack combos. I love doing jerkies because they're portable.
Yeah.
And that'll give you your protein. You can get turkey jerky, you can get a beef jerky as long as it's not doused in some sort of sugary, teriyaki sauce. And they're really easy to take with you. You can do nuts. Now, the trick is people say, well, nuts are a great snack all the time, and they are indeed. And I have every single one of my clients that don't have an allergy utilizing that as part of their snacks, but not by itself. Because nuts, while the perfect combo of good fats and protein, are extremely high in calories. So what you want is to have it in combination with other bulk, and the bulk comes from fruit. So I'm a huge fan of fruits. You can do portable things, apples, pears, grapes. Combine it with some jerky, combine it with some nuts. You have a great on-the-go snack.
It sounds good.
If you're looking for combinations here's one that would be a gluten-free approach to check the sweet tooth box, maybe in the evening. Try doing like a blended half and half strawberries and plain Greek yogurt. Not the type with lots of sugar added.
He's looking at you, Tom. He's looking at you.
He's looking at you, kid.
I just heard frozen yogurt's okay. That's what I heard.
But if you include Greek yogurt, strawberries, try like a cup of both. Throw it in the blender. I'm okay with you using a all natural sweetener, depending on what your goals are. That's a whole topic to itself, but put in sweetener, blend it up and chill it in the fridge for just a few minutes. It's a delicious snack. You're going to feel like you're cheating and eating something that you're not supposed to. And it's a gluten-free snack, Amy. Roll-ups, those hors d'oeuvre plates where they bring like turkey or ham roll-ups with cream cheese. Try it with cottage cheese. And if you just use a dab, it tastes really good. I know that sounds weird, but it'll trick your senses into thinking you're getting the real thing. It's a great evening snack. If you want something savory and you're kind of a salt person, that's me. I'm a salt addict. Try this. Slice up some apple really thin, put some low-fat mozzarella cheese on it, and some garlic powder. Bake them in the oven until just like a little crisp. These are just a few quick examples of things you can go to for some quick snacks. And also on the MetPro website, there are tons of snack options. And just by default, you're going to find, though it's not a gluten-free menu, you're going to find tons and tons that happen to, by virtue of being whole foods, are also gluten-free that you can utilize. So hopefully something in there, Amy, helps a little bit. One last tip. Satiating. Some fruits are more satiating than others. Berries, like strawberries, give you a huge bang for your buck calorically. They're not as quick to clean up, so they may not be as portable. But if you're at home and you want something of substance, chop yourself up, dole out a big bowl of of strawberries with some of those other ingredients like we talked about. And you'll find it may help really stretch and keep you full a little longer than you'd expect.
Lots of great tips.
Well, thank you so much for that. And if people would like that sort of information tailored to them and their lifestyles, where can they find you?
metpro.co/TCO.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Peloton celebrity sightings.
So Rishi Sunak, who is the British Prime Minister this week, because they've been churning through him lately, man.
Yeah.
But he is now Prime Minister, and we talked about him a while back when he had a different, like, high-level position in the British government. But he's a huge Peloton fan.
Yeah, so it's kind of going through the news again, and since he is now Prime Minister, we felt like we should bring it up again.
Yeah,
so
he was on the news over there talking, and they were also addressing his love of the Peloton.
Yeah. And Britney Spears.
Yes.
So I'm guessing
must
he
be
is a fan of Cody.
Fan. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Even I know that.
Peloton artist collaboration.
The latest artist collaboration is with Stormzy, which I don't know who he is, but it's fun to say.
It is fun to
Sounds
say.
like he'd be a cute little puppy.
Well, he is cute, but not a puppy. This is part of the Black communities in the UK that they're doing the artist series for. So I guess he has like the underground grime scene. They are coming up with names for music that I just like. Seriously, you guys are literally just making this up.
No idea what any of that means. Yeah.
But he has quick fire rhymes, catchy hooks, heavy bass lines, and high energy performances. And you can find out more about Stormzy when you take a class with Hannah Frankson or Jermaine Johnson. Coming soon. Coming this week.
Past guest update.
So Whoop is starting their own Whoop Advisory Council.
Yes, Scientific Advisory Council.
Scientific. And we know it's scientific if Stacey Sims is on it, right?
Exactly. That's why I wanted to point that out.
Yeah.
So Stacey Sims is part of it. Therefore, I will pay attention to it. I love everything this woman does. I want to learn more.
And while we're talking about past guests,
we also wanted to talk about Yanira and Jessica Minardi, both of which have been past guests on the Clip Out, both of which are going to be running in the New York City Marathon, and both of which went live with Mariana Fernandez this week to talk about being scared of signing up for a race and you wanted to do it, but not knowing where to start. So they had a special live this week with Mariana's Mariachis over on Instagram Live. And it was Tuesday, October 25th, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you check that out. Give them some love. Mariana is one of the sweetest teachers I have ever met. She is so kind and she is so responsive to people. She is amazing. So please make sure you check this out. Do not sleep on this amazing yoga teacher who also runs. Like, we have a great resource here. And make sure to celebrate Jessica and Yanira.
In case you missed it.
we have new London scenic rides.
I love this. A 30-minute London ride with Hannah, a ride with Eric, a 30-minute run with JJ, and a 20-minute walk with Hannah and Eric together. They look like they had a blast putting these together. So I can't wait to take these. It looks like a lot of fun.
Checking in with the Peloton community.
Joining us today via the magic of ZoomTube is Anya Adams. Hey, Anya, how's it going?
It's amazing. How's it going with you guys?
Well, that's fabulous.
Good.
I'm so glad to hear that. You're not stuck in a hurricane.
Morning. Oh, yeah, no, I'm not anywhere near the hurricane. I had a great morning. I did a little Cody Ridsby 30-minute arms and intervals. So
that's a good way
I was ready for the day.
Yeah, that's a good way to start the day. Well, so when did you originally find Peloton? Like, how did it become on your radar?
You know what? It came on my radar from those commercials. Do you remember those commercials? I don't. Maybe other people said this, but like when it was like I got my wife a Peloton for Christmas, and I was like, those guys. Like, I'm sorry. Am I not allowed to swear?
You go ahead.
You're
fine.
She's coming in hot.
I was like, this is. what a stupid whatever. But I was a spinner at that time. Like I was going to spin classes and stuff like that. And then a friend of mine got one. And I was like, I travel a lot for work. So it was great to have the app. And then, I wasn't able to go to these classes anymore. And so I wanted a way to be able to spin. And Peloton was the way to do it at home.
So you weren't mad at them
so then
anymore.
I was like, I take it back. I love you.
Oh. We actually interviewed the Peloton wife on the show.
You did?
Yeah. She could not be a nicer person. Like, she's so sweet. And she's so funny. She's like, yeah, it's like my eyebrows. She's like, and she like did the face, and she's hilarious. I love her.
I just remember seeing that and being like, that's so rude. But then, like, I just love my Peloton now. And, yeah, like I get it.
When did you end up actually so when did you start taking classes, and then when did you actually get your bike?
Let me see. I got my bike, I want to say 4 years ago, probably 4 years ago.
Okay. So pre-pandemic.
I lived pre-pandemic. And I lived in a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment. And my second bedroom, which was my guest bedroom, was also my Peloton room, which was very small. So like, when Hannah Frankston is like, lift your hands up and say whatever, I'd hit the walls. But I was like in it, I was on the second floor so I could see out my window. And now I've moved to another house. So I have like a garage. So my Peloton is in the garage with like the mat and everything. It's way better setup than I had it initially.
That's awesome. Do you have any issues with it being in the garage? Sorry, Tom, I cut you off.
No, not at all. I have very good Wi-Fi, Tom. Very good Wi-Fi.
Yeah, unlike my work. Yeah. So it's always fascinating for us because we live in the Midwest. So the idea of putting your bike in the garage is like,
we're like, really?
A non-starter.
You would never do it.
No.
Well, okay. It is a converted garage. Also, I live in Los Angeles, so it never gets below it's always very balmy.
Yeah, it's beautiful there. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We all hate you a little bit just for living in LA. Just a little bit.
No, we're nice people.
Until it's time to pay your taxes.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're like, deuces.
Yeah. So it's like, well, we're last in education, but look at what we paid in taxes.
And you guys got the Mall of America. I mean, there's so much going on out there.
Yeah, there is. We also have lots of space. So like you guys pay $1 million for like 1 square foot, and we get like 1 million square feet for $1. So there's that trade-off.
Yeah, it is pretty nice. Yeah, like I said, 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment.
Yeah,
it was a tough one. Yeah.
So you said that you were taking spinning classes as Peloton popped up on your radar. Had you been taking that for a while? Is that new? Have you always been into fitness? Like, what was that journey?
When I was in college, I rode, and I also played volleyball. So it was like, I like the low impact sports. And then when I moved to LA, I started working out at this place. These 2 women did spin classes, and they were so fun. What I loved about spinning was the music, and when they have music forward classes or whatever, where you're just like riding to the beat. I love that. And I love the feeling of doing that in a group. And so I really was like into spinning. And then as my job changed and hours changed and you can't make this class or that class, being able to jump on a Peloton now and kind of get the feeling like you're in a class, is nice. And I was at Equinox for a long time, and they have great spin classes there too. But it just, once the pandemic hit and my jobs changed, like it was just easier to have something at home.
Yeah. What do you do for a job, if we may ask?
Yeah, I direct television and features. That's what I do.
That's fun.
When I first got the Peloton, I was directing. Yeah. So I've had the Peloton ever since I started directing, and I've take Peloton with me everywhere.
That's awesome. So have you directed anything that people might be familiar with, or is like an industrial, or what's that?
It depends on what you like to watch.
Sure.
I've done a broad base of things. I directed a bunch of comedies like Blackish and Fresh Off the Boat and Speechless.
Oh, wow.
And
Sweet.
then
Yeah.
moved into like Glow, and I did some Charmed, and I did some,
Oh my gosh.
my favorite show of all time on television, which was a show called The Expanse, which is like a sci-fi show. I just did the finale of League of Their Own, which just came out.
Wow.
And I recently
we started
just
watching
directed,
that.
Yeah,
it's great.
it is.
Yeah.
And I recently just directed my first movie.
What?
So
Nice.
yeah, it's called Prom Pact, but it's not going to be out till next year during prom time. And it's for Disney Plus. So
How
yeah,
exciting.
I do a lot of different
Holy,
stuff.
holy cow, that's
That's
so
really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
My other podcast that this kind of grew out of is a movie podcast where we talk about. It's called Real Spoilers, and I always the elevator pitch is always every week we talk about a new release in a spoiler-rich environment, like a book club for movies, but no Oprah.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
I mean, we'd be more than happy to have Oprah. We just figure we're not going to get it.
Yeah.
So we, like,
Yeah.
you know.
It's better to like set that expectation out there
Right.
now.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I guess that explains why
Yeah.
you travel all the time for your job. Yeah.
Yes, and I also have a dog, and I don't like to fly him under the thing. So a lot of times I'll drive. I work in Vancouver a lot, which is actually where I'm from. I'm Canadian.
Oh.
So I will drive from LA to Vancouver. And I think somebody told you this, or I told you, but like the last time when I went to do my movie. Actually, no, I didn't take it when I went I was in Vancouver doing a show called Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, and I did a bunch of episodes. And so, because I knew I was going to be out there for a long time, and it was the pandemic, I disassembled my Peloton, put it in the back of my car, and drove it to Canada so that I would have it with me in my rental apartment.
So you just
and it was worth it.
You just
I watched
took it apart? Yeah, you just like
Yeah, well, I didn't take it apart. I called my really dear friend Roman to come over and help me take it apart and carry it. But then I had to I kind of had to put it back together. Yeah. So, but still, like, if I didn't have that Peloton, because I was quarantined, you cross the border into Canada, you're quarantined for at least 2 weeks. I couldn't leave the house. So having that Peloton was like a lifesaver.
I bet.
So I'm glad I carried it with me. So I took the monitor off. I took the handlebars off.
Okay.
I took the seat off. I took the weight holders off, the drink holder off. Then I took the pedals off.
Wow.
And I took the pedals you don't want to get them bent,
No.
right? So you have to also lean the body of the bike in a gentle way so things don't get damaged. But also the base of it we removed. So it was really just the like heavy body metal part of the bike. Put that in, and then everything else around, and then all my luggage.
Oh my gosh, I am impressed.
And my dog.
The
And
dog
all
was
the
on top.
all the Topo Chico I don't know if you guys drink that, but it's like my favorite sparkling water. We have it here. They don't have it in Canada, so I had a bunch of that in the car too.
That's hilarious.
You know, I'm so old. When you said Topo Chico, I thought you were talking about the little mouse puppet that was on Ed Sullivan.
No, not him. There's a new Topo Chico.
None. I have no idea what you
Crystal
guys are
has
talking
no
about.
idea what I'm talking about.
I love that she knows, though. I love it. I'm like,
I've never heard of him. I don't know, but I love that. There was a Topo Chico.
There was a mouse puppet called Topo Gigio. That was used to be on Ed Sullivan all the time when he was like, and now Topo Gigio.
Everything that we talk about, Tom manages to take back to pop culture. Everything.
I do. It's like a tick.
I love it. It's great. It's great.
So that is just... I'm really impressed, especially with the pedals, because when you put the pedals in, you have to, I don't know if everybody at home knows this, but you have to one has to be like backwards threaded. So that intimidates the heck out of me. I know people say it's not that hard. I believe them, but it just intimidates me because my bike is like pristine and I don't want to touch anything. I'm scared.
I know. I know.
You didn't have any issues with calibration or anything when you put it back together. It was exactly the same.
I didn't, because
it's amazing.
Yeah, I didn't. I thought I might, but I really didn't.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And I haven't. even at home too. Yeah, it's been great.
Oh, good.
So
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I would. I'm like, even though this happened to you in the past and it's not happening like right now, I'm still worried for you. Like, even though you're telling me it's okay, like my stress level went up.
I probably do. I mean, since I've had the bike so long, I probably need to have someone come through and like look at it. But yeah, I've never had any problems. I have modified my bike in one other way, and that is because I have the older bike. So I got the swivel head, like the adaptive swivel head, which I love, which they added, in the years after.
Yes.
So.
It's on the Bike Plus now. Yes.
The Bike Plus, yeah. I just have the bike.
Don't. There's no just for me. That's great. I love the original bike.
I love it too. I love it.
So how did you get into directing film and television? That's a tough nut to crack.
How did I get into it? I went to school to be a psychologist. While I was at school, this group called Up With People came through, which was an international students group. You know them?
They first Super Bowl halftime show was Up With People.
Yes, yeah. So they came through and I joined the group, and while I was on the group, I was thinking about what do I want to do when I'm done. And really what came up was like, I want to work in film and television. And so I went online back in the day when like the internet was very small. And I found this program that's still around called the Directors Guild of America Trainee Program. And so I trained to be an assistant director, which the trajectory in assistant director is to go into producing, but some go into directing, and I was the some. And so I was an assistant director for a very long time. And that's the person that schedules, runs the set, makes sure all the background are there, all the, everybody knows what they're doing so the director can direct. That's what I did. And so then when that I was kind of like, what do I do next? Because I didn't want to produce. I thought I want to direct. Because I'd worked in, like when I was in Up With People, it was very creative. We were on stage and I really loved that. So I wanted to kind of incorporate that into my life here. And so I said I wanted to direct. I was on the Mindy project at the time.
Wow.
So I said to Mindy, I want to direct, guys. I saw all these people directing. I said, I would love to direct an episode if you. And she was like, great. What have you done? And I was like, oh, I haven't done anything. I better do something to show people I really want to do this. So, and during the course of trying to figure out how to do something, a friend of mine was working on was a part of a show that was starting up called Blackish, and she approached me and wanted me to come over as an assistant director. So I said, I'll come over, but I really would like to direct. And so during my time there as an AD, a first AD, the creator of the show, Kanye West, decided to give me an episode to direct. And so that's really where my directing started. I directed an episode called Sister Sister. And then literally my career took off. So
that's exciting.
Directed a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
Wow. So when I hear assistant director,
I'm interested to know, like,
Tom.
Sorry, my Wi-Fi is getting real.
No, it's your Wi-Fi.
So I would be interested to know when you say your career took off, like, what's the metric for deciding that you're a director worth backing? Is it the ratings? Is it just how you handle the set? Like, what makes the word spread that you're a person people should be working with?
When I say my career took off, it didn't like fly off the handle. But what happened was I was able to leave ADing and just direct full time. And I think he's frozen on the screen, but I think what allowed me to continue working as a director is that a lot of people knew me from before when I was an assistant director. And a big part of directing is that you're given somebody's baby, like they've created this. This is something they want to be successful. They put their blood, sweat, and tears in, and they want to know that the person coming in understands that, is going to uphold that, and is going to bring whatever they can to this piece and make it as good as possible. And so people knew my character from before, as an AD. So as I moved into directing, I was moving in similar circles. So people knew my ethic. So then after having done an episode, they saw that I could also, I had an eye. And then,
right.
And then it's a ton of networking.
Yeah.
Like I directed Blackish, and then I was fortunate enough to do a YouTube Red show called Youth and Consequences. I did an interview. They liked me. And one of the things that happens in television is that you have a very, very finite amount of time. And one of the jobs of the assistant director is to like keep everyone on task moving forward. So knowing that you have a director that has that kind of mentality is helpful. And so I think that also helped me get jobs early on, is like people knowing that I understood the cadence of being on a television set. I understood the time. I understood what it was like to work with kids, because there are a lot of kids on Blackish and there's time constraints with them. So I think that was a part of it.
Wow. It seems like a dream job. Like, do you love it as much as it sounds like you do?
I love my job. I love it. It's really, really hard and it's crazy, and you're creating, which is like, you're not just like writing stuff, you're creating. And so people have opinions about what you're creating, and but it's so fulfilling, and it's so amazing to work with all these different personalities and, get into this combustible kind of relationship and make something. So it's been amazing.
Wow.
I love it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I am blown away by that. That is so cool. I could talk about this all day. I feel like
sure,
there's
that's
like
awesome.
a million questions I should be asking.
It's fine. We can totally talk about Peloton too, because I do that a lot.
Okay, so let's see. Who's your favorite Peloton instructor?
That is really hard. And I bet you everyone says that. But like my go-to is Hannah Frankson. I love Hannah. But if I want to take it easy, I go to Cody. Is that wrong? I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
No, because
I just feel like Cody, I don't like Hannah, I don't fuck up. Like she was an athlete, like gotta go. Or like Tunde, like are you kidding me? We're warming up at 80,
Yeah.
Come on. Like, those guys are like hardcore. And then, Cody's like, guys, I feel like today too. It's just a little bit more. It's just not, I still work my ass off, but it's not as,
it's not as intense.
It's a different feeling. But I love all of those guys. But I have a dog, and I just started like saying, how do I combine my Peloton workouts with my animal? And so I've started walking.
Yeah.
And I love Marcel Dinkins and Kirsten Ferguson.
Yeah.
I love those guys for walks. So I've been doing a lot of walking, and I always go to them. I love their music. I love how inspirational they are, and they're a lot of fun. So it's made me start thinking, dare I say, about a Peloton.
Are you going to get a tread? How exciting.
I'm sorry. It's another podcast. Apologies. But yeah.
Well, so that's okay. We talk about the tread here. We talk about anything Peloton. So you can talk about it. It's all right. This is the place to talk about it. So I have to say, though, don't ever be afraid to take runs from Marcel and Kirsten, especially Marcel, because she does the Would You Rather game on, I think it's on Sundays that she does it, or maybe it's Saturdays. It's so fun, though. Like, she'll do this whole class while we're running, and she'll be like, so she'll like play the get to know you game, and she'll be like, would you rather? And then she'll like ask some crazy scenario, and she's already asked it on Instagram, and then she like totally makes fun of whatever.
Yeah. I love that.
It's a great, I love it. I love it so much. That. And also, Marcel will surprise you with her playlist, which I love too, because she's got a very eclectic background of music.
Yeah.
And so like,
I love that.
We'll have this really fun pop and hip hop, and then all of a sudden it'll be like, oh, we're going to have some country, because she grew up in Memphis, and I love that so much.
Yeah. I totally agree. It's been interesting to like kind of like spread out.
Yes.
I'm very intrigued by the Peloton row, because I used to row. So
I did not know you used to row. Oh, I'm very interested to hear how you thought. Now, we got to go, we were recently in New York this past weekend, and we actually got to go see the rower. We tried it out, and I loved it. Like it's so quiet. It's silent. You cannot hear it at all. It's amazing.
Does it fold up, or is it just stay wide?
It stays big. The screen folds down, and then you can put
Okay.
the entire thing up against the wall, and so you can, and it's got like this box that you can have installed on your wall, so it like connects to the wall.
Holds it.
It holds it.
Oh my God, I love everything about this.
Yes, and I think you'll really be excited about this since you used to row. It has form feedback. So it will tell you what you did wrong technically with your row, which like, for somebody who's never really, I mean, I've rowed at the gym, but I have no idea if I was doing it right. Like I just got on the rower. And so this was telling me how I could correct my form in real time. So it was really cool. And it gives you a report card at the end that's like, here's all the things that you can fix about your form. And then they do all these drills. So it's really cool. So I really think that you might enjoy it. I could be a salesperson for Peloton.
I think you did a great job. Now it's going to be Christmas, the tread or the row, the tread or the row.
That's a toughie.
You have to figure out which one of those two is easier to smuggle into Canada.
Yeah.
Right. Which one I can fold up in the back of my car. I mean, it sounds
Yes.
like the rower.
It's 8 feet long. So
It's long, though.
God.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a workout, though, I bet. Because, like, I remember in university rowing and how freaking hard that was. So,
Yes.
that's awesome.
Yeah. I'm very excited about
That's
it. I can't
awesome.
wait to get it. December. I'm excited.
Yay. That's so dope. I'm jealous. Christmas.
Exactly. Just in time. So what's your leaderboard name?
My leaderboard name is Mighty, AKA.
Now, where did that come from? How did you come up with that?
No, I tried to put my name in. My name was already used. And then AKA was already used. Then I was like, I'm going to be inspirational to myself. Mighty, AKA. So
I love it.
That's my leaderboard name. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I use it. Yeah, that's it. I think I started using it other places now too, because it's handy.
Now I want to know what your middle name is that the K is.
My middle name is Katie.
Katie. Oh, okay.
Well, my middle name is Kata. It's German, Kathe with the umlauts over the A.
Oh.
But I say Katie because most people don't speak German.
Yeah,
in the United
that's
States.
fair.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, Mom, why? I don't know. You know, she was being unique. But yes, now
So
I
she's
have my
not
initials
German?
are AK. No, my mother was a Russian Jew.
Oh, huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Mhm. My family. Yeah. Yeah. Second generation.
I'm trying to figure out the German connection. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
Here's the connection. My mother was an artist. She
Okay.
loved this artist named Käthe Kollwitz, who is a German artist. So she named me after her.
Got it. Okay.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's really cool about being like a second generation. My grandparents on my mom's side moved to America from Germany whenever they were like in their late teens, but you know, they grew up during the Depression and everything. So it was kind of, it's always interesting to like think about how different and how the same the world is. Like in so many ways it's so different, but in so many ways it's the same. But I cannot imagine the bravery that it takes to like be like, oh, let's just move to another country. Let's just pack everything up. Let's just go.
Yeah.
Especially
I have
then.
friends that just moved to Hawaii and they took 11,000 pounds of their stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Like in a ship.
Oh my God.
So, but you're not doing that from,
No.
Germany.
No,
You got a couple
Yeah.
suitcases and you're starting over.
that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Terrifying. There was no
Yeah.
Peloton in the back of that car.
That's so funny. That would totally be me. I'd be like, okay, I guess I'll leave all my clothes. Let me just figure
You're
out.
like-
I'll carry the monitor. Don't touch the monitor. It's the most,
This is my carry-on.
yeah, this is my carry on, the monitor and the handlebars or whatever.
She's like, Peloton dog, I'm ready.
Yeah, that's it.
The rest I'll get there.
Guys. That's all you need.
Yeah.
So,
Do you, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to
no,
cut you
go
off.
ahead.
I was just going to ask if you have any advice for people just now getting their bike.
Ooh, it's hard at first. And, I think like all of the trainers talk about competing against yourself and you really are. Like, that's the like key is like, the leaderboard is fun and like can help you push yourself, but ultimately it's about you and your fitness and, just take it easy. It's hard. You got to build up your stamina. And when you stop doing the bike, it goes away real fast. So
it's true.
I was just on vacation for 3 weeks. I came back and I was like, Cody, because I need to be nice to myself. And you just like, have fun, and also try different trainers, because everyone's different and you kind of relate to them differently. And, someday you want this person and someday you want that person, but you don't know if you don't try them, it's easy to get stuck.
You know what else is interesting, especially since you're kind of starting to get involved in the tread side of things, taking instructors in different modalities. So like, for example, like Robin is a completely different person on the tread than she is on the bike. I find that just fascinating, because they're all like that. And I just think that's so weird.
No, that's so true. And also you can see where their strengths are, right? Like, and Rob, I haven't taken Robin running yet. I need to do that.
Yeah, just whatever you do, don't do it on a yellow day. Don't do that to yourself. That's not cool.
Don't do it. Okay, copy. Got it. I have done her weights and her abs. Like, I love her 5-minute abs, because then I'm like, I feel like I've done abs.
Yeah. I'm
and
pretty sure 5 minutes of anything with Robin, you feel like it. You felt it.
And then didn't I just... Somebody, I think it was Kristen, was just saying she was a lawyer before this.
Yeah, Robin was. Yeah. So like, that's a whole story, and like, and you've heard her story about how like she was like held up at gunpoint and all that too.
No.
Yeah,
like gosh, I gotta check that out.
Yeah, definitely check that out. If you read her book, Shut Up and Run, she tells that story in there. And she's been on a lot of podcasts like Rich Roll and things like that, where she's talked about it too. Also, you mentioned, I know you said that you're not doing your podcast anymore, but you mentioned that you have a podcast. Did you want to tell people about that?
Sure. Yeah. I have a podcast with my dear friend Fanchon Cox, and it's about women of color behind the scenes in film and television, and it's called Sister Brunch.
Oh, I bet that's
literally we just interview all the different jobs. One of the reasons we did it was like, everybody knows about the director and the producer and the actor, but there's so many other jobs behind the scenes that you can do. And so we really wanted to bring that to the forefront so that, young women of color could see, oh, there's all these other opportunities, and I might fit into props better, or hair, or VFX, or intimacy coordinator, or whatever. As opposed to
wait. What is intimacy room coordinator? What is that?
Have you not heard of these?
No, I haven't. What does this mean?
This is a new thing.
It is a new thing. So essentially, anytime there's any kind of sexual interaction with anyone on screen, there's an intimacy coordinator there to help choreograph if needed.
That's choreographed?
I mean, if needed.
Okay.
If needed.
Okay,
like, most people know how to kiss somebody else, but like, I don't know if you when I was doing my movie, I had a bunch of background that were brought in specifically because they could kiss, because it was COVID, and you had to bring couples, and it was a whole thing. And so I wasn't aware that there was all these people. So this person would come to me and say, hey, you have 3 people that are here that are able to make out if you want to, because I was shooting a high school party. And so then I was like, oh, great. So let's put someone here, here, and here. And then she would just go and talk to them and help them also like choreograph in terms of like, the camera's facing this way. So if you guys are kissing that way, I can't see it. So you need to kiss this way.
Okay.
It's that kind of stuff.
Okay. Got it.
And also they're there to make sure that the players that are involved in this act and event are comfortable.
Sure. No, that makes sense. Yeah. Especially in this day and age. I want to make sure we don't repeat history.
I also thought it was interesting that you said there were 3 people that could kiss. I was like, that's too. Very forward thinking.
I was like, well, we had to plan it, because you can't. Okay, so when I was an AD back in the day, you could you have a background group of 25 people, and you go, hey, anybody okay kissing? And then 4 people will go, yeah, because they know they're going to be featured or whatever. But you can't do that in the time of COVID, because they need to be living together. It was like all these other things. So that's why the assistant director then had to plan that and make sure to help in keeping the party accurate and real. You know, we were like, well, yeah, at a high school party, there's going to be kids making out. So
yeah.
Well,
we should plan for that.
I don't mean to ruin your scene, but not at the high school parties I was at.
That's because y'all were playing D&D.
It was mostly just D&D.
But there were passionate events that happened in D&D. Maybe.
No, not like that.
Okay. All right.
It was just a bunch of dudes.
Yeah,
they were straight.
Yeah, we had bad roles for charisma.
Oh my God. Hilarious.
Oh, too funny. Oh my gosh, you are a joy to talk to.
Oh, that's super fun. My friend Julie Malazzo is a big fan, and she was like, "I'm going to recommend you."
Oh,
But then you guys reached out to me online, so I don't.
She reached out to me, and she was like, "Oh, you should interview Anya Adams," and I was like, "Okay, that sounds great." And then we had like that big gap of time in there, and then because you're clearly a busy lady, and so I feel very fortunate that this worked out. So thank you so much.
Fun. Yeah, I had a great time.
Oh, me too.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I guess, again, before we let you go, let everybody know where they can find you if you would like to be found.
Oh, I'm on Instagram, directed by Anya, Anya.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah. And if you are looking for me on the leaderboard, it's Mighty AKA. Come find me. Give me a high five.
Oh, you're gonna get some high fives, I guarantee you. This crew knows how to follow. They like to follow. We are a very supportive group.
Oh, good. I love it. I mean, it's a family at Peloton. I love that. I love that.
Have you ever been to? I know I'm like still going. Have you ever been to the studio?
I haven't, and I would love to. And there's one in LA, isn't there? It's only in New York.
There's New York and London, and that's the other one. Yeah, and it's really hard to get into now. You're gonna need a PA to go in and sign up for your class, because you have to sign up Mondays at noon Eastern, so that'd be 9 a.m. for you.
Oh my God.
if you log in at 9:05 your time, they're gone.
Forget it.
They're gone. So, and it's like 5 weeks out. It's 4 or 5 weeks out. So yeah, you got to be on it, or it's gone.
I just recently got a job in Rome next year. I'll be in Rome for 2 months.
Wow.
So maybe I want to try to go to the London one.
It is easier to get into the London one, especially if you will take classes with the German instructors, because people haven't gotten as much chance to get to know them yet. So that's a good little
German.
tip. Mm-hmm. There you go. There you go. Yeah.
Just access the website with your middle name.
Yeah, you're automatically in.
I'm like, I'm people. We're family. Yeah. Oh my God, perfect. Thank you for that, Tom. I will keep that in mind.
I'm nothing if not helpful.
Okay, I'll really stop talking. Thank you so much, Anya. That was a lot of fun.
No worries.
Yes, thank you.
So I guess that brings this episode to a close. Until next week, where can people find you?
People can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Crystal D. O'Keefe. They can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and the Peloton leaderboard at ClipOutCrystal.
And you can find me on Twitter at Roger Kubert, or on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. You can find the show online at facebook.com/The Clip Out. While you're there, like the page, join the group, and of course, don't forget our YouTube, youtube.com/The Clip Out. So that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, keep pedaling
and running.